And we are live. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I was so excited, I almost didn't even push the button. That's how excited I am. But today is Wealthy Wednesday, and you know it is my favorite day of the week. My name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist, and it is my mission, my vision to help you properly protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth by using my proprietary system, which is my one-page financial plan. I refer to it as the Wall of Wealth. Please download your free copy. It will give you an idea of where you are, kind of take a temperature check of where you are in your finances and what are those booby traps that you may not be aware of. Yes, I said booby traps. That's how we get tricked up if we don't know that booby trap is coming. And none of us are going to be left behind, right? We're not going to be falling into those booby traps. So, enough about me. Let's talk about our guest. I am so honored. She's literally one of the first people that I had a coffee chat with here on LinkedIn. And I absolutely saw her amazing heart and just her power of what she does and her vision for how she wants to help our community and give back. And she is truly an example of having a vision and having it come to fruition. I've watched her evolve just like a beautiful butterfly. My grandson, my precious little grandson, who's 5 years old, he loves butterflies and he talks about how they open up their wings. And I think about Martha every time I think of that. And truly, what she's doing is so unique and so needed. So, without further ado, please give it up for not only the founder of Connect Impact Hub, not only humanitarian, but one of my most prized and treasured relationships, my sis, Miss Martha Lobos Amaya. It's all you, my love.
Oh, thank you so much, Leah. I'm so thankful to be here and everyone that's here with us. I hope that you're all having a wonderful Wednesday. And Leah, as you already know, I absolutely adore you. Every time we connect, wherever we are, it's like we're at the grocery store. It's almost like we're right there in real life, embracing each other. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. And I thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit more about what we're doing with Connect Impact Hub.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What's so crazy is we have not met in person. Like, this is so unbelievable to me. When you said that, I thought, it's every time we talk, it is truly like just sitting down, having a cup of coffee, like we're right next door to each other. We're right there with each other. But we are going to meet very, very soon.
We are.
But in any case, because you live in Texas and I have family in Texas, and I live in Monterey and you have family here. So our paths are going to cross. It's just going to happen.
Definitely.
But thank you so much for your time. And really, I wanted to do this. I had to just follow her around. She's so, so busy and get her on the schedule because I really want to showcase the work that she's doing. It's so unique, it's so needed. And so many families are looking and searching for resources and they just don't know how to find them. So tell us, first of all, tell us about your vision, how you came up with Connect Impact Hub.
Yes, so I actually came up with Connect Impact Hub on my discovery journey, which started last 3 years ago is when I was on this journey. I call it the discovery journey because, I didn't really have a direction on where I wanted to go. I was just kind of moving forward with faith and hopefully, I found my niche and that's exactly what happened. I picked up advocacy work and I really enjoyed it, and particularly with our low income and homeless population over the age of 65. I fell in love with that population. And then I also did case management here in Houston at one of the shelters. And I got to learn a lot of insights, not only in New York, but also here in Houston, but also as a child growing up in a low income household. So all that knowledge, I have, it's something that some people it comes natural and some people they have to work through it, right? Because when emergencies come, you can't really think straight. You need that extra help. And so I found a big gap when it came to our resources, how it's being provided to the clients, what happens after. Are they following up? Are they not? Why aren't they following up? So all these questions is questions that I was asking myself along this process. And there's situations that require hand holding, and then there's situations that don't. They're ready to go, on the go. And everyone is different, but the way the system is set up, it's not catered to them in that way.
Wow, that is so huge. It really is, because I think about finances, because obviously that's what I talk to people about. And I always tell them there's no such thing as a cookie cutter. It doesn't work. We are all individual, just like our own fingerprint. Every family is unique and different. We have different wants, different needs, different things of what we consider wealth, right? Different definitions. We have different incomes and different debts. So there's no such thing as a one size fits all. And so that really resonates with me. And I think, unfortunately, and we can't fault the system, right? They're trying to help many different people on many different levels, but depending on their background, their income, their culture. I even think of their culture, because let's say they have a certain food that they've been accustomed to in their culture, and now suddenly they're in the system and they're feeding them a totally different diet. So it's just so important. And what I love about what you do, and you've said this to me multiple times, I've heard you speak many different places, is that you treat people with such care and love and respect, just because they find themselves in a crisis. It could be any of us, it could be any of us at any time. To find ourselves in a crisis doesn't mean that they're any less than. They're still people, they're still humans, still have thoughts and feelings, and they still want to be seen as an individual. So let me ask you this, Martha. Why is it, in the traditional sense of philanthropic, right, in services, why is there such a disconnect? For example, if somebody needs medical care and they find that resource, and let's say they need that stitch or they have that rash, right, and they get that resolved, but the medical professionals can see that obviously this person hasn't eaten in some time, or they're obviously living, in a outside, a homeless situation. Why is it that there aren't immediate other easy resources available? Why is there such a disconnect when it comes to finding those resources?
Yeah, I really love that question, Leah, because that's what a lot of the community members ask. Why is it so difficult to get help? Right. So I'm just going to use for my experiences, when a community member goes to healthcare for any service, whether it's the hospital, whether it's a clinic, if they don't specify that they are unhoused or homeless, then the provider won't know. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, they're just there for care services and they don't ask. And so that's where we have to remind them, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to speak up, because the provider won't know what's happening in your life and they won't be able to provide you the services unless you
Right.
ask. That's step one. And then once they do ask, right, once they do inform the provider that what their situation is, well, what happens in the background is then the provider can refer them to the city social worker, the case manager. They'll have a list of resources that they can give. Okay, that's the second step. Now, this is where it gets tricky. It's the third step, is when you're given the sheet with all these contacts. And if you don't have a place to stay, or if you don't have no support, what's going to happen? There's going to be no follow up. So this is where I push it to healthcare, to literally walk these clients, patients through the steps and getting them the resources that they need. Because a lot of the resources that are there, they don't know. And that's why I'm being very vocal when it comes to our healthcare system, because there's so many resources within the healthcare system that can be used to help our community members get back on their feet.
Wow, that's so good. So there really isn't a system, a trackable system to follow up. There isn't a true process to follow up. And at the
So
same time, you brought this to my awareness. If somebody, let's say, for example, we know there's a resource
yes.
down the road, a mile
Mm-hmm.
from where they are, or 2 miles, or 5 miles, which in a car could just be a few minutes. But if you don't have a car, you don't have those resources, how do you get from where you are to that resource? Maybe it's something that is the key to ending your crisis,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't even know how to get there. They don't have access to it. That can be so discouraging. Or they show up and it happens to be closed that day because of a holiday or some special circumstance. So that must just be so discouraging. And so how can that be resolved? What
Mm-hmm.
is the solution to having people really falling through the cracks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there is a solution to ending homelessness. So I do want to be very out loud about this, because I want this to be amplified loudly, and I want all of our advocates, case managers, anyone that's in the field of helping our community members, our homeless population, to come together and unite for change. How can we do this? Working together, right? If I call your organization and I ask, hey, can you help? Can you provide a resource for me that I need for a client? Instead of saying no, let's work on a workaround on how we can address, well, if I don't have this service, let me refer you to so and so that can, right? And so then we can create some type of of collaborations happening not only within the community but also virtually within the providers as well, because not everyone is communicating, and that's who's hurting is our community members consistently, to the point that they start giving up on asking for help.
Yeah. And sometimes it means operating a little bit outside of your silo. I mean, it's easy for us, people say stay in your lane. I respectfully disagree with that. I
Mm-hmm.
think that we need to build the lanes, we need to expand
Yes.
the lanes, we need to cross section and converge and have highways and byways and pathways. And I think about it when we're talking about collaboration or networking, just in anything, whatever you do, whether
Right.
you're in financial services or whether you have a traditional job, who do you know that could be a resource? And we all have someone who does something. Maybe it's somebody. I used to belong to this social club, and these women were sewers, and they would sew blankets. I mean, beautiful quilts, and they would take them out to the unhoused. They would make hats and mittens and collect socks. And maybe I wasn't gifted to know how to sew, and although I'm taking some sewing lessons now, but maybe I wasn't gifted in that. But maybe there were other resources that I could
Mm-hmm.
connect them with, people who had the material or the yarn, or even the people who could benefit from those resources. And I think it comes from us really having the courage, because I think it takes courage to stand up and speak out and ask the question, who can I connect you to? Does that sound like?
Yes. So I want to thank you, Leah, because you're actually one of our partners, one of our resources for financial assistance, like when it comes to learning about how to manage your money, learning about policies such as retirement plans. We had this conversation. I just recently connected with someone else who's going to help me with resumes for our community members, and then also disabilities. So I'm getting these connections, and these connections are all here off of LinkedIn.
Wow.
And when I'm calling the community and I'm, telling them who I am, I'm the little person just coming on. My name is not, our name is not out there. Not a lot of people know me, but And that's okay. But what I do know is that a lot of people want change. And so,
Right.
how is that going to happen is when we all unite together and work together to get that change going. And the more we talk about it, the more actions we take uniting with one another. And how do we do that? Is like I said, when I call for help, you can pick up and say, I have this resource, or vice versa. Martha, do you have this resource that you can help us with? Or maybe Martha has knowledge that I don't have that I need, and vice versa. I mean, that is literally, it's not a one way. It's, we got to keep moving, here. Like, how can we keep helping one another as we're moving, if that makes sense? I'm trying to create a visual here. Hope the words are making sense.
Absolutely. When my boys all played football, I have three boys and they all played football. And my littlest one, he was so tiny and he started playing when he was like 6 years old. They called it tiny tigers or something like that. But he was super fast. And the coach told him, no matter what happens, keep moving your feet. Listen, sometimes we see what could be a block. We see
Mm,
a challenge and we say, oh, you know what? This problem's just too big. This challenge is just too huge. There are too many people who are unhoused. Too many people need help, and I just can't do anything. But really, we have to keep moving our feet during the
mhm,
process, and that's how it's going to grow and expand. And,
right.
and then we can really start working together.
Mhm.
So, what is something, maybe somebody's watching this now or even in the future? What is something, I mean, this is all you do. You're an advocate, you're a humanitarian, this is your organization. What is something that somebody could do that maybe doesn't have this huge platform? Maybe it's a stay at home mom. Maybe it's somebody that, works a traditional 9 to 5, or maybe it's somebody that has a small business. And
Mhm.
so, what are some things that we could do that might be seemingly small steps, right? But we
Yeah.
know those small steps equate to huge transformations. So, what are some
Yes.
small, give us like 2 or 3 tips that we could do
Mhm.
to start moving forward and being more part of the solution?
Yes. Love that. So, what you can do in your own communities is start creating task force. Get family, friends, your community involved, and do it once a month, twice a month, maybe, whatever works for you, and go out and pass care bags. Go out and pass care bags. And I say do it with multiple people for safety reasons, and don't ever approach a community member if they tell you no. Always ask from a distance. Would you like a care bag? Respect their boundaries.
Right.
Um, that's huge. I do want to say that. And then also, care bags is huge. Water bottles is another item that is needed in the community, especially now during this hot time. Like here in Texas, it's hot water. Um, also, um, talk to them. Sometimes just a simple conversation or just a smile will make such a huge difference in them and also in you, because we're all community members, and little acknowledgement really goes far, especially when you're really down in your life. Just a little acknowledgement, just say, you look so beautiful today,
Mm.
and really mean what you say, and really look at them and, embrace them, because I'll tell you, they absolutely love it. And I love embracing them. It is such a rewarding feeling to do that. And then to have, I continue to have my conversations because this is what I do, this is what I love. But they want that human connection. They don't want nice people to disappear. They want them to stay in their lives. That's another huge one that I actually recently learned, Leah, about that.
Martha, that is so much good stuff. Those are some great, great tips. I kind of want to rewind those a little bit, kind of unpack that. You're saying care bags. So, in
Yeah.
a minute, I'm going to have you tell us something about the care bags. I think that's really, really huge, something that we can all do go to the little dollar store, and I think it's the $1.25 store. I don't know, and come pick up some
Yes.
things. Water bottles. You can always carry some extra water bottles. You never know. I'm in Monterey, but I can't even imagine being unhoused in Texas where the temperatures can get really, really escalating. And then a simple conversation.
Mhm.
I recently heard that all of us as humans need 9 hugs a day. I don't know why the number is 9. I didn't write the book. I'm just telling you what the quote was. And so I told my precious grandson, Mijo, we need to have 9 hugs a day. He said, okay, Gab Gab.
Mhm.
And so he hugged me and then he let go and he hugged me. He did it for 9 times. I said, well, I mean, like throughout the day. Anyway, um, but I just think about that human interaction of somebody who's unhoused. I mean,
Mhm.
if they're there with their loved one, then hopefully they have that. But maybe somebody's out on their own. How just a simple, friendly look, or even a nice "How are you?" or even just a smile, like you said, can just mean so much to somebody that is feeling really isolated and really having some challenging times. If you would kind of circle back to what is a care bag and how can
Mhm.
we create these?
Yeah, so a care bag, you will put, for example, like chapstick, socks are huge. They love socks. Also for women, hygiene products. Um, um, and for men, like deodorant, band-aids. I also will sometimes I'll put in there Advil, Tylenol, um,
Mm,
some snacks, water, just some ideas to throw out there. And also, if you have clothes you want to donate, you know, what happens is when they're out there and it's say it's raining or it was a cold night, all their stuff will be wet. So
right.
they always welcome clothes, shoes. If anything, if you want to donate, you can just go and donate to them directly. You can do that with your community.
That's a great, great tips. Yeah, I love that. Those care bags, something that we can all do. Pick up a few extra things, a few items, and just kind of keep them in your car. I mean, I'm going to start doing that. It's something I hadn't really thought about. Now, what I do is I keep change right there in my little cubby in my car, and I will just hand it out. It's something simple, easy to do. But you're right, taking that extra step, some things that maybe they just aren't able to buy. Again, the store may not be close to them. Something, a simple Advil may not cost a lot, but gosh, if you're in pain and you need something, that would be worth everything to somebody like
Mhm.
that, or even just an extra snack that maybe they don't typically have access to. I think it's just so important that we understand that we are all people. We may have different backgrounds, different walks of life. We may look different. Heck, we probably even, talk different. We probably even smell different, right? But we're still human beings, and it's so
Mhm.
critical. So
Right.
tell us, Martha, share with us. Your name is very intentional. Connect Impact Hub. I know you picked that name very intentional. Tell us a little bit more about your vision and what
Yes.
you're doing.
So right now we are fundraising for our mobile, and the mobile is the resource hub, which would be, we're mobile, so we go anywhere in the city. And basically it's an all one location, printing, phone, computer, to be able to provide the resource right there and then. Say they need a hotel voucher. If we have the resource available, we'll be able to help with that, get transportation over, and get them going. The goal here is to provide the resource on the spot and not have to go through so many intricates just to get one resource. Um, that has been one of the biggest challenges that I've seen, whether it's in housing, whether it's in even our benefits. like our food stamps. I'm just going to use that. There's a different word for that now. SNAP benefits. There we go. SNAP benefits. They're having to wait 30 to 45 days just to get their benefits. That's another little area that needs to be attended to, even though they're considered homeless, they're in a shelter, they still have to wait for their benefits. So there has to be a little bit more availability when it comes to what we have. I haven't done a research on the statistics as to how much is being provided here in the US, for example, with funding, and how that funding is being distributed. But what I have heard from different states is that the tracking of these fundings hasn't been very clear. And so I don't want to say that may be part of the problem, but we really need a lot of transparency when it comes to the funding that we're getting. How are we using that funding? What is the success rate to our community members? How many of those community members that we served, say it was 100, how many of those 100 community members are succeeding? And so that's the area that I'm really focusing on. I'm looking at our success stories. Why are these clients succeeding versus the clients that are not? Let's find the reasons why.
That is great. I love that. And it's about it's about finding true solutions that are long term rather
Right.
than putting a band-aid on it. So that's so great.
Yeah.
And
And,
and go ahead.
sorry, I just want to add one last thing.
Yes.
Something that I've noticed during this work is our clients who have mental health conditions. I have noticed that it's very difficult for them to get to call. I already know that, to call, but also on how to ask for help. And so a lot of the times, these particular clients, they end up homeless for many years, and no health care is involved other than emergency health care. And then emergency health care is received, and then they're just shoved back to the streets, where they should be getting more than just emergency care. There should be more than that. And so that is my request. And thank you, Leah, so much for bringing, these wonderful questions that are, that I haven't really been speaking about. So thank you so much for
Yeah,
that.
so critical. I mean, that's just what goes through my mind. I know here in Monterey they have a mobile unit and it comes and people can take showers. I think they can wash clothes there. I'm not sure, but I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, wow, this is pretty amazing. It was parked right here at the El Estero Park. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time I'd seen that. And they said, oh yeah, we go all around because sometimes they just don't have the transportation. Oh my goodness, we have a special guest here. It is the amazing Mr. Jones from Hello LLC. He says, wow, what a great information. And most people don't know. You're right. Most people just don't know it. Listen, it's easy for us to go along our way and go and do our day-to-day things. But really, true change is going to happen when we all take a little bit of responsibility. And it's not saying you have to completely, sell your kids and, get rid of your car, but we can all do something to
Mm-hmm.
help
Yeah.
another individual, whether it's donating
Yes.
some of your time, some of your extra clothes, or maybe making some care bags, or just even simply asking the questions. This is what I always think of. People always tell me, they say, oh, well, I hear a lot of financial people, they say, well, if the client doesn't ask, then I'm not going to tell them, or they have to ask the
Mm-hmm.
question. But the thing is, we oftentimes don't know what question to ask. And
Right.
that's why I talk about a booby trap. A booby trap is a booby trap. We didn't know it was there. We had no idea that it was coming down the road. We didn't know how to prevent it. We don't even know the solution. And
Mm-hmm.
I heard this statistic very recently, Martha, that the highest sector of homeless population is actually baby boomers.
Yes. Yeah, I already knew
That
that.
means
Yes.
They're older.
They're coming
They,
more.
they've gone through their working years.
Yeah.
They struggled and did whatever they could to get by, but then something happened that was a booby trap. And now suddenly they find themselves, maybe they're dealing with some illnesses. Maybe their families moved away and they don't have family close to them.
Mhm.
And now they're trying to figure all of this out. And that just really brought it so close to home, because I thought about, like, if it were my mom or if it were other seniors that I know, like, that's just really daunting.
It
So
is.
I love that you're
It
bringing
really,
this awareness. Go ahead.
yeah, it is. When I was working with our population in New York over the age of 65, uh, most of them did not have a retirement, um,
Right.
and no family in many situations. And also, they've been taken advantage of. That's another gray area. Like, who do you trust, right? Who can I give my information and trust that they're going to help me fill out this application? So that's another area also that
Oh,
I'll be
huge.
touching more, as we continue to speak about what we're doing, because you have to be very safe on who you provide your details to, whether it's family or friends or a neighbor. You
Yeah.
have to really know who you're speaking to. So I always advise them, do not give your information over the phone. If you go
Right.
to the office in person, like for example, when they were applying for SNAP benefits, some of them couldn't do it over the computer, and I couldn't fill out the application for them because it wasn't allowed for us to do that. We would have to just walk them through the steps. But not all of our population has a computer. They don't know how to type. They need that extra help. So finding that resource location where they actually walk the client through these steps, it is so crucial. And so that's what we're doing, is we're actually walking them through the steps. We're holding their hand, and then we let them go, because they have to be able to do it alone. And if they can't, then we have to find other resources that will continue to be with them on their journey.
Yeah, that's so good. And we have another couple of comments from a LinkedIn user, and I apologize. Put your name in the chat so we know who you are. We can give you a shout out and give you credit. It says, change takes us all to adapt and change. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, and I'm not sure if this is the same LinkedIn user, but it says awareness is key. And you are so, so right. You're so on point. And we can all do something, but it's being aware, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
not aware that maybe a small gesture, seemingly small gesture, can be so impactful for somebody who is living in a really challenging situation. So that's so key. I love that. And anything else that you want to share with us, Martha? Maybe some good takeaways for us, so that we don't feel that, gosh, this problem's too big. There's just no
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah. So, we have programs all over the world where you can actually go and volunteer. You can even do volunteer work virtually also. If you feel it in your heart that you want to go out there and make a difference, and you don't have people to go and do it, go and make those calls. Volunteermatch.com is a great resource to use, to find local organizations that need volunteers. We need volunteers, so you can reach out to us. And again, this all starts with you. We can't tell you what to do. You have to want to do it. And I have a feeling that a lot of our community members all over the world want to make a change, and they will make that call, or they will step out of their comfort zone and they will go out there, whatever streets they're in, as long as it's safe, always be safe, and make a difference, because you will. Like, I really strongly believe we will all make a difference and we will end homelessness. I have no doubt about that.
I love that. And I know we have a lot of generous people. I know a lot of times people think that, everybody is mean or nobody cares. But you know what? That's not really true. I disagree with that. I think I know we have a lot of giving, caring people, and especially our community here on LinkedIn. People are going to watch this and they're going to reach out to you. They absolutely are, whether they are a housewife, stay-at-home mom taking care of their kids, or they've got a job, or maybe they have a business and they have some resources that they can provide you. And make sure that you let them know you saw it here on Wealthy Wednesday. Okay, give me a shout out for that,
Yes.
because I know we are going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, that kind of rounds up our time here today. But if you are wanting to get into the metaverse, you're thinking about the metaverse, you'd like to know how to update your old dusty, crusty business card and website, talk to Mr. Jones with the Hello LLC. He is the one who's going to change your world and help us all to upgrade to the next level. So with that being said, Martha, I adore you. I appreciate you so much. I always say that Martha leaves these little hearts everywhere she goes. And those hearts now are becoming bigger and bigger as she's making a bigger and bigger impact on our community. And I think that it truly does take a village. We can all do something. I heard this quote. It's an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yes. I know we've got a lot of generous people here on LinkedIn, and I'm excited to hear who reaches out to you. Okay, give me a shout out. Let me know how many people you got from this, because I know you're going to get some more volunteers.
Yes. And I just wanted to share one last thing. Yes. We do have a fundraiser. So if you're able to donate, or if you want to be a part of the movement, #ConnectImpact Hub. You can also use my name, Martha Lois Amaya, tag me, and what you're doing in the communities, because the more we speak about this, the more we do our service in our own communities, the louder the movement is going to be. So right. I am asking you, please support us in any type of way, however you can, be part of this movement with us. Thank you so much, Leah. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely.
And thank you to the viewers.
I know, that's so cool.
So much for being here.
And absolutely, I'm going to say, if you are an entrepreneur, solopreneur, business owner, small business owner, and you have resources, maybe you have something that you can give as a resource, or you would like to be a partnership. There's so many things that go unused, or that could be a blind spot they're unaware of, could be useful. Right. So please reach out to Miss Martha. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yes. So you can reach out to us either on LinkedIn, ConnectImpact Hub. We do have a business profile, or here, my name, Martha Lois Amaya, or we're also on Instagram, ConnectImpact Hub, and we're also on YouTube, ConnectImpact Hub. You can send me messages on any of those platforms, and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much, Leah, for that.
Thank you, my sis. I love you. I adore you. You are truly a hero, and you are the one who is chosen for this. You're going to impact so many people. I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored to know you. And I just love watching your progress and how you've grown. And I know great things are to come for you. And so many people are going to be impacted it. And you're going to bring us all together, which I love.
For us, right? Like for all of us, because it's not just ConnectImpact Hub. It's not Martha. It's all of us united. I really believe it. Like, I'm getting chills just saying that out loud, but that's how strong I feel about this movement. It's very strong. I feel it in my blood.
Absolutely. You were born to do this, Martha.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
It's great to see you as always. I see her all the time, but it's always great to see her.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. And with that being said, we will see you all at the top, because we know it's way too crowded at the bottom. We don't need any more bottom dwellers, okay? We all need to be on the top. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, everybody.